Hello, good morning, all you caffeinated people and uncaffeinated people. If you're uncaffeinated, go get some caffeine. You're probably going to need it because we might be here a while. We got a lot of BS to talk about this week. I'm drinking an excessive amount of caffeine. You can't really see it because I got the magic cup, but it's actually dark roast with heavy amount of caffeine in it. So here we go. Just to start us off real quick, I am actually going to let Cheshire kind of run this today. She's got a lot of notes that she wants to go over. We also got Anti-Ordinary with us. She's going to chime in at some point here. She's probably getting herself prettied up, which is going to take about 3 hours. So at some point she'll chime in. No, I'm just kidding. Hi, Demi. How are you? Good morning. Can you hear Demi? Did Debbie really go get gussied up? Oh, I thought she really did take off. I was like, oh my God, we're going to be here all day.
She was playing safe. She was playing
That would require me to have effort in life, Stephen. Don't be silly.
Yeah, none of us want that, definitely. Real quick, I know they can hear me. Can you guys hear Cheshire? Because, again, with this NDI stuff, half the time it works, half the time it doesn't. So, real quick. Oh, we got an echo. All right. Okay, I got rid of the echo. How about that? Let's try that now. So, I think that the echo's gone. Cheshire, can you give us a little audio thing?
Check. Are we good to go?
All right, so hopefully that fixed that. Yeah, I think I fixed Demi's echo. Oh, yeah, sounds good to me too. So as soon as they can.
Oh no, there's an echo coming out from me now.
No, I think I've eliminated that. Oh no, they still echo. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there's still something coming out from me.
All right. Well, how about that?
I cry.
All right. How about that? One more thing.
Checking.
Give a number between what?
Are we good?
We'll give a number between 1 and 10.
Oh, yep. No, that's good.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
You don't hear it?
Am I?
Awesome. See, we figure this stuff out. It just takes a few minutes. So there we go. Cheshire, this is all yours. By the way, you guys can hear Demi too, right?
Yep.
Awesome.
Demi's good.
I'm just gonna sit here and drink because that's kind of my thing on caffeine.
I'm going to sit here and smoke.
Because she's smoking. You hear that?
I'm gonna go over, I guess, all of the garbage that has been going on even just in this past week. So where do you guys want to start? You guys want to start with EFI Core, or you guys want to start with essence of what is it?
Essence,
not that important.
essence of twat.
New YouTube who dis?
Yeah, you know what? Let's do the important stuff first, and EOT is like least important. So let's talk about EFI Core first.
All right, so with EFI Core, there's a lot going on. So excuse me while I have to ignore chat for a second, just while I just beeline through this. There was a flat earther that rose a little bit of a red flag about EFI Core. Then Sean Hufford went to their actual location, a public address that is listed. It's supposed to be what is their office. There is no signage. They don't have an office there. It's just there as a mailbox front, so they can get mail and shit. They've listed themselves as a nonprofit. In the state of Indiana, you cannot be a nonprofit without having an office. It's required as part of their laws. They also haven't properly filed for their attempt to become a nonprofit, and they haven't paid or made their taxes public in 2 years. Now, this is essentially a bunch of flat earthers that have decided that they're a nonprofit organization to prove the earth is flat, which is also something they're not allowed to do because you can't become there are rules to becoming a nonprofit, and one of them has to be you can't be trying to undermine any kind of pre-existing laws and rules, which would, like, being a flat earther would be like, we don't really like your education system, fuck NASA, so they can't do that. On top of the fact that they're idiots. But they started false flagging people because that video then had Sly Sparkane and Mike Cavanaugh, who is the head of the director of EFI Core, had a conversation wherein Mike said, hey, yo, you're just looking at this other information. You should do some research yourself. So what does Sly do? He fucking did it. Oh, because of course he fucking did it. So Sly goes ahead, makes a video, does a whole expose exposing exactly how fraudulent they are. And then he got 1 copyright strike and 7 privacy complaints. Now, what did he get privacy complaint for? Well, he got the complaint for posting a picture and talking about the names of the board members. All 7 of them.
Which includes Jaronism.
Which includes Jaronism.
Who says he knows nothing about this.
Yes. All 7 of them. Now, to make a privacy complaint, you have to do it as an individual. You can't do it as the group. Jeranism has flat out come out to say that he would never and has not done this, that he did not false flag or privacy flag anybody. Well, that leads to two things. Either one, he's lying. Or
Gasp!
two, somebody at EFI Core did it for him, which is illegal. You can't do that because it has to be the individual. So they then false flag. Reds Rhetoric called them out to be like, "Hey, you can do this, assholes." And then they flagged Red's video for copyright, but the video that they flagged for copyright was Sean's live stream from when he went to their office. So they claimed on a video that wasn't theirs and admitted via email that they actually did it for slander and for various other reasons that they claimed, which they can't do under the penalty of perjury. So, where are we at currently? One, everybody's retweeting this at YouTube so you can know what the hell is going on. Two, EFI Core may decide to go down the legal route and actually try and take Sly and Reds Rhetoric to court. And three, I do believe the state of India, from the hangout from last night, the Indiana Attorney General has been made aware, and it's currently sitting and waiting on his desk for him to review this quote-unquote nonprofit. I'm sure there's other litigation going on in the background, but we'd have to wait.
Now, I like on my video, I talked about EFI Core the other day. I actually put the names of all the EFI Core members, and we showed their picture from their About Us on their webpage. So any privacy concerns are just BS. They can try to go after me for privacy, but they're not going to happen because it's their public information. Now, they've been very selective in their targeting. They know that I did that video. Anthony Riley was in my live stream during that time. Why do you think they haven't hit me for privacy concerns then?
Because you're not exposing them the same way the other two are? Oh, probably because you haven't butthurt them as much.
Oh, I butthurt Anthony Riley quite a bit, and Nathan Oakley quite a bit back in the day.
Anthony Riley and Nathan Oakley aren't on the board of EFI Core.
This is true. Well, Jeranism's not exactly like a fond fan of mine.
Jeranism has nothing to do with this.
According to him. Yeah, I've never talked to Mike Kavanaugh, and I don't even know the other. They may have heard they were Pat. Yeah, I know Bob.
Bob. I don't know.
But I mean, I really don't know them, right? I never really interacted with them. I just know of them, or maybe talked to them once or twice in passing. But yeah, maybe so. I'm just not on their radar. Although they said they're going after all Sly's, friends and associates and things like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is straight up targeted harassment that's going on there, and we're basically everybody is just retweeting and retweeting the videos, and Reds has made a call out for anybody who does have a channel to make their own video. So if anybody is interested in doing that, that will be a twinned tweet on my Twitter. You can find that there, where I'm going to be providing essentially what will be a template script for anybody who actually wants to do it, and I'm going to try and make it under 5 minutes, so it'll be a really quick that you guys can do if you guys are interested in doing so.
So Demi, where do you stand on this? First of all, Earth's not flat, right?
Okay, well, you're just stupid. It's clearly flat. Have you not looked at it?
Have you walked outside lately? It's flat.
Exactly. Okay, if the Earth was round, why do we make flat shoes?
They should be curved, right?
Exactly.
That is the best reasoning for flat Earth I have ever heard.
Have you have you heard of them before, by the way? EFI Core?
No.
Okay.
No, I generally stay away from all that stupidity because I can't do nothing about it, and it just pisses me off.
Well, you're welcome.
But thank you so much for infecting my life.
We try. We affect a lot of people. I've affected a lot of people in my life. Wait.
I do like the discussion about abusing copyright systems. Is that what this is about?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. That's what. That's kind of what it boils down to. Now, I understand YouTube is limited in what they can do. I understand that they have distanced themselves from interactions between the complainant and the complainee, or the complainer, complainant, whatever. I get that, right? I don't think YouTube can really do that much, but I think they could fix the system. And one of the things that I think that they need to fix primarily, this is under their control, is that I don't understand why you have two channels. One of them is a live streaming channel. One of them is just uploads. if they both get a copyright strike, the one that does the live streaming is the only one that's affected. The one that just does uploads is not. So why is it that if you get a copyright strike, even though it could be fraudulent, which most of the time they are nowadays, it seems, especially in this case, why does that prevent you from streaming? What is their rationality on that? Or the rationale?
Maybe
So
they want
I
to
think-
prevent people from spinning a narrative.
I can't see that. There's got to be some of the reason why you can't stream. I mean, why is that?
I think the reason it is because this is just me. This is just me guessing from just pulling this out of my arse. But I think one of the reasons might be the fact that no real person has actually reviewed why your account's been restricted, and AI has done that. And for all they really know, you could then start live streaming copyrighted material and
Okay.
just do further damage to them, and that might be a liability because they had been warned that you had been using copyright material.
So you think that it is a possibility that they're prohibiting live streaming in case you want to like play a Star Wars movie or something like that?
Yeah, or you're just going to use the live streaming platform to infringe more on copyright.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I mean, that's possible.
Yeah, that actually kind of makes a little bit of sense. I'd be willing to buy that if it's a liability for YouTube.
But
then
here's
I
the
think that
thing:
makes sense.
why doesn't YouTube have some transparency in all this stuff? They don't answer these kinds of questions.
So I think the reason, and I agree, because I'm just as frustrated by it all. Like it pisses me off, and it's really annoying. What I think a huge problem with it is that it's a one-sided system. Like a
Yes.
corporation like Sony Music, you can have a 2-second, 3-second clip of something they own the copyright to, and it's fully within copyright legal usage, but they can claim your video, and they get no repercussion for that, even though they're making an illegal claim.
Yeah, and they get the revenue.
And they still get the revenue, and you still receive the damage from that. So it's a one-sided system that if you are someone that's making money through your intellectual property, you're kind of not a smart business person if you don't abuse that system. And like, I hate to say it, but imagine how much money Sony Music and other industries are making by falsely copyright striking people all across the internet.
Yeah, no, I think
Didn't
that's
they
true.
make
Yeah.
a change to that recently, where the money will still be going to whoever did the channel, or the money is on hold?
Yeah, I think that's it. They put it on hold until the dispute is
Which would-
And then
finalized.
Which
then
would
it
make
goes
more
to one or
sense.
the other.
Yeah, which would make more
I think
sense.
that's what I think they recently made a change, and that's what the case is now. The thing is that it is very one directional, where I can flag you, but the copyright going back is so slow in reacting to like, it reacts really quickly one way, but not as quickly the other way. Now that's not to say that these things don't get resolved. They do get resolved. The thing is that YouTube just hasn't put in the resources and the time that it needs to on this side, because the damage to YouTube only goes this way. YouTube doesn't get damaged if you're going this way.
Yeah, I think the reason why they implemented that was pretty much because of exactly what Damon was saying. These companies would go in and say, "Hey, you used 3 seconds for a clip." They would put a content ID claim on it, and they would get all the revenue from that channel. Now, if that was a popular video that was earning, a couple $100 in the first couple days, some of them bigger videos made $1,000, they were getting all that. And then if you just fought it, then they were like, okay, but they still made all that money from you didn't get that money back.
Yeah, all of that
That's
just goes
BS, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a problematic system, but it's not a problem for YouTube. Really, not really, because you're not going to stop making content, are you?
Well,
You gonna give up?
No, if the people don't give up, but they get frustrated because it's the same thing when like people make a video and they demonetize the video like right off the bat, right? So for bigger channels, there's gonna be the first day they're gonna make a lot of money and then lose. It's all gone because that's not monetized. For smaller channels like myself, it's not a large amount we're losing, but the first couple thousand views on most of my videos, I don't get anything for, right? They're just demonetized. I fight them and I get about half my videos right now are demonetized right off the bat, and about half those come back as monetizable. So
Yeah.
I get about a quarter
I
that
don't
are still
even have-
demonetized.
I don't have enough to have a monetized channel anyway, so it's a little bit of I've got a bit of a degree of separation and actually having to, like, in the frustration.
I'm with you, Cheshire. I just get frustrated when it impedes on my creativity. That's what I get frustrated with, because that's what I like my channel to be. Yeah, it's me bitching a lot, but it's me doing my own shit. And I don't like it when I have restrictions that I'm like fully within my right to do and I'm being sanctioned for that. That's just bullshit to me. But I
Yeah.
think like another troubling side I see to it, because you said people are still going to create, and they are, but what's sad about it is that platforms like YouTube have given creators the ability to make money, to have a sustainable life making creations for the internet, and these systems that are in place to protect copyright are actually just infringing on creativity
Yes.
and the ability to make money on that creativity.
And that's a really big problem.
It's a huge problem.
People don't realize how big of a problem that is a lot of the time. The thing is like let's put this into a different scale. Right now we're looking at YouTube and that scale. Let's make this a little bit larger. What if it was a movie? What if you were trying to make a movie and it was a documentary about, I don't know, some really big problem going? Well, let's the kids in cages down at the border of Southern America right now. How about that? You're trying to make a documentary about that and what's going on, and you're commenting on it. You've done all the filming yourself. You've put all the work in, but you get copyright flagged by Coca-Cola because there's a trash can that goes by.
Yeah.
The fuck, guys?
But it even comes down to like censorship. So I see in the chat some people saying you can always express your creativity and you just won't get paid for it. And I used to make that same argument as well. And I don't have a monetized channel and I'm still making garbage content. So it's not like I'm going to stop making stuff. But the point is, it's not a sustainable career path for you to make. And at the end of the day, we do live in a capitalistic society. So most of our endeavors, if we're putting a lot of time into them, they need to have some sort of payout to be justified. So yeah, people are still going to create, but that doesn't justify you removing incentive to do so. And that doesn't justify people manipulating the systems in place. And it's not just about the financial aspect of it as well. A lot of times I have videos on my channel, I'm not sure if they're still public anymore, but they're like banned worldwide. And I don't have really any idea why they're banned worldwide. They're just not, no one's allowed to watch them. That's
bizarre.
Because people are able to manipulate the algorithm to be able to affect videos if they don't like them. If enough people dislike a video in a certain way and they know what they're doing, or they get directed to that video by someone who knows what they're doing, they can censor you essentially on a neutral platform. And so if we go back to what you're talking about, someone making a documentary about the kids in cages, essentially someone could censor that from YouTube and stop that important information going out to people. And it's not just about the money. It's about freedom of expression and freedom of speech.
And, well, parts of this is when you start getting into something like specifically what EFI Core is doing, which is targeted harassment. There's another step to this, is they've made videos demonstrating that they're fraudulent and they're trying to take them down. These videos are showing that these people are not a nonprofit. These people are not being truthful. These people are trying to basically scam you out of your money and other flat earthers out of their money. And they're being exposed, and they're trying to take down the fact that they're being exposed and trying to hide.
We got
stop that information from getting out there.
We got 2 super chats in quick. By the way, did our guest arrive here? I can't see it.
I think so.
I think so. Hey, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Let's first of all, let's just see if anybody out there can actually recognize your voice before we introduce you. We got 2 super chats real quick. You want to read those, and then people can get. By the way, Demi, I don't know if do you recognize that voice? We'll give you the first crack. Demi,
I hate you so much, Steve.
William Peterson said, I just informed the Mormon missionaries that my family sent me to that I am donating to an ex-Mormon's YouTube channel in their honor for bugging me. They snuck into a gated community to bug me. Winky face. And Mr. Present 99, then is that pound? That's not pounds. What is that?
Euros, yeah.
Okay, 20 euros. I promise you, Steve. Go and keep on doing what you do.
Thank you, bud. All right. So, anyways, you guys guessed it. So I got Undoomed. I know Reds Rhetoric has been reaching out to him to try to talk about this EFI Core stuff.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Oh, by the way, Undoomed, Cheshire, Undoomed.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Fuck you,
Pleasure.
Steve. Don't introduce me.
Oh, by the way,
dickhead.
this is Demi, Anti-Ordinary. I'm sure
Hey, how you doing?
Dave's seen her around.
Nice to meet you.
So
Nice to meet you.
has Red Rhetoric kind of filled you in on the details of what EFI Core is doing?
Yeah, somewhat. It was basically an info dump, so I haven't read through everything, but most of it.
Yeah, so basically, in a nutshell, although Cheshire just kind of went over it, this organization...
Okay, here we go.
Go ahead.
Just kidding.
No, go ahead. No, you know this
Thank you.
topic better than me. I mean, I've been following
EFI
along.
Core's false
But...
flagging a bunch of videos because they're a nonprofit. Because they're a nonprofit organization and they're not actually a nonprofit organization, and they're trying to falsely take advantage of the government so they don't have to pay taxes. They're false flagging videos for copyright and privacy, which they don't actually get to do because that information is, one, public, and two, not theirs, so they can't copyright strike it, to take down any kind of video that is exposing them for being fraudulent.
Right. I'm sure you've been over this, but the YouTube system is totally screwed up. I mean, they shouldn't
Shocker.
actually punish you before they've actually determined guilt, but they do. They give you a strike, and then they figure out, well, maybe that wasn't correct. Like it's ass backwards.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I get some of the reasons why YouTube has to take certain actions. They want to distance themselves between the person making the complaint and the person that the complaint is levied against because legalities. I understand that. But I was telling Chess earlier and the rest of the people that there are ways they could still fix the broken system. For example, I don't see the need for them to strike somebody on the first thing where they cannot stream just because somebody has levied a complaint. That makes no sense to me because during that time, especially for a larger channel where they do live situations, live streaming, that could have a large impact on the revenue stream, to say the least. I mean, I live off basically live streaming. Now, I have some standalone videos, but most of what I do is live streaming. If I can't live stream for 90 days on this channel, I have other channels, but I'd be kind of SOL,
Yeah. No, it's kind of like going to court, and then you're informed that the verdict's going to be guilty until we find otherwise. So
You can't do anything. You just stay in jail. Don't do anything.
Yeah. So that's my basic complaint against it. It should just be, okay, well, let's figure this out. Then you'll get your punishment if it is applicable.
I would like to make a side note real quick and just take a bit of a step back when we were talking about creative rights and getting paid on YouTube or paid to be creative and as an incentive. The thing is that how much can you do if something's a hobby, and what would you be capable of if you were able to do it full time? That's my answer to either lack of sympathy or a lack of understanding as to, well, you're going to create anyway. Well, yeah, but if I can do it in my own place and buy the things that I need to be able to do it and actually invest my time instead of having to work. I don't know. I was before I made my move, and I haven't totally moved it. I don't know if it's going to be able to be permanent or not, but I was working 10-hour night shifts. And I was working 10-hour night shifts, and I was working at minimum 40 hours a week while I was doing pre-production, while I was doing other things, while I was doing all kinds of background work. And I can only do so much in so much time, and I was still living under the poverty level. So what am I supposed to do?
It's difficult. I mean, I do this full time. This is my job. I really bugs me when people just say to YouTubers, get a job. It's like, this is a job. They have no idea the work that goes into trying to make something out of a channel and something to create and something to have dialogue and something to build. It's not easy. And it takes a long freaking time, several years for most creators, even before they even start to make any kind of revenue.
This right here is nearly 4 hours worth of work of point form notes about what's going on with EFI Core. Just point form.
Right. No, it's true. It takes a lot of effort, and that's why I don't do it full time. Basically, it's just it doesn't pay. You have to get up on that makeup level, or whatever is actually selling on YouTube.
Yeah, it takes
Jeffrey.
It takes
stuff like that. That brings in a lot of cash. But people are doing just this kind of stuff or what I do or whatever, it's just demonetized instantly.
Yeah. Have you ever had a monetized video? Your videos are, let's be honest, are somewhat controversial. I don't know why. I tend to like most of your content, but
it's just that people misunderstand me and think I'm some sort of I don't know, serious guy. But it should be taken as comedy mostly.
Yeah, no, I believe
I'm
that.
not an asshole. I just play one on the internet.
No, I mean, I think he's one of those people that has legit concerns, but he tries to do it on a comedic level. But there's still a kernel of truth in what you say, and a lot of times,
all good comedy does, right?
Yeah, but it just sort of bugs me when people they try to attack every fucking argument there, and it's like, okay, that was just for comedy, asshole.
It's like a little bit of hyperbole to make this a little bit less depressing.
What I just find annoying is like I get people who message me on Twitter or comment or whatever the fuck. And they're like,
that's well, that voice sounds familiar to people too. Hey, Reds.
Hey, what's up? I'm currently driving, so sorry if the audio is shit.
Well, your voice is shit. But anyways, we connect. I'm connecting you right now with Undoomed. You've reached out to him. He's with us right now.
Perfect.
You want to add something?
How you doing?
Add something to the FE Core?
Yeah. Hey, Undoomed. How's it going? Thanks for getting back to me. I appreciate it.
No problem, man.
Yeah, so just the brief synopsis of what's going on. FE Core is a group of flat earthers that's incredibly butthurt because we exposed them with publicly available information. As a result of this, they decided to go after Slice Barcane, a YouTuber that did the initial expose. And then after that, they decided to branch out from there and also decided to target all of Sly's friends, which would include me. They targeted my video for copyright. They also sent 2 privacy complaints, which is total bullshit because all of their information is posted on their website. In fact, just showing their website will get you a privacy complaint from FE Core, specifically Mike Kavanaugh. So what we've been doing is we've been screaming at YouTube over Twitter and also submitting counter notifications to try and get this resolved. But they're not stopping at us. Other YouTubers are getting hit with copyright and privacy complaints by this group simply because they do not like the fact that they're being exposed for being the frauds that they are. They are abusing the system, and this is why I got in contact with you, because I'm trying to make as much noise as possible, and you have a large enough following where your voice can be very, very loud.
Do you have anything where you've succinctly put it into a tweet or something that I could read?
On it.
Wait, did you say in a tweet? Succinctly in a tweet.
Well, yeah, because that's basically the fastest way to get something out right now. If you have something that I could just retweet, that would be a start.
Yeah, if you go to my Twitter, there is a bunch of emails. If you retweet any of them, they state exactly what's going on. Because that's an email correspondence between me and FE Core, where they are admitting that they did not make a copyright claim because of copyright. They made it because they thought the video was slanderous and defamatory.
I'm pulling it up right now. Just give me a second. I'll get it to you. I'll link it in the chat.
Yeah. So, and then on top of this, it gets even better because as the days went on, they started targeting other YouTubers and doing the exact same shit to them. So it's not just me and Sly, but they also said that they were going to continue on this crusade of bullshit because they're extremely butthurt over the fact that they've been exposed.
But so what exactly did you expose?
What we've exposed is that they have lied on their paperwork when it comes to being a nonprofit organization. In order to be a nonprofit organization, you cannot do anything that's going to attempt to sway legislation or try to get people to fight against the government. But flat earthers, by design, are always going to be against the government. So they're trying to put out demonstrably false information that would try to affect funding for NASA, the NOAA, and so on. On top of this, they have also made their nonprofit a mailbox front business. That is illegal in the state of Indiana. Basically, they don't have a physical location. They just made it a front for the IRS. Mm-hmm. Another thing that they did was they haven't filed with the IRS in the last 2 years. And what they're doing, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get money for their flat Earth projects without having to pay taxes on the money that they receive from YouTube and other donation sources. That was also exposed by Slice Arcane. And when you go onto the FE Core website, or when you look at the paperwork for filing, they say we're field engineers, we do this, we do that, we're whatever. Basically, no mention of flat Earth, which would make them ineligible for being a nonprofit organization, because for being nonprofit, you can't be promoting conspiracy theories. Again, This is law within the state of Indiana. So what we did was we took the FE Core board members, their own words, to demonstrate that they are in fact a flat Earth organization. So any claim that says otherwise is demonstrable bullshit by their own words. So what they're doing is they're lying to the state of Indiana, trying to get money tax-free, and they're being butthurt that all of this is being exposed. They broke multiple laws. So we've already filed complaints, which is already sitting on the desk of the Attorney General in Indiana. In response to this, they're now issuing false DMCA and privacy complaints against us, because we have the audacity to say, oh, you can go ahead and spew your bullshit, but you're going to pay your taxes while you do it. Correct. Correct.
Steve, nobody's hearing you. Yeah.
Okay, so let me fix that. So let me reiterate that again real quick. So sorry about that on the outside. I've had way too much caffeine, as you can tell. So Indiana state law states that for an incorporation, or this could be at the federal level, I'm not quite sure, but a corporation needs to have a physical mortar building, right? It has to have something that you can actually go to talk to a live human being, to be considered to be a corporation. My dad was a CEO of a corporation. He did the articles of incorporation. He did all that stuff. He was CEO. He actually had an office that was just outside Burbank, if I remember correctly. It wasn't downtown Burbank, but it was outside of Burbank. But it was an actual place, because I remember going to it. So Mike Kavanaugh, the president of that, set up that building just as a mail place, which he cannot do in order to be a corporation. The other thing is correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason this got brought out was because people that were giving to FE Core wanted to do this as a tax deduction. And when they said, how, what do we do for the tax deduction, because they claim 501c3, they said, oh, we're not really a 501c3.
Yeah, there was a lot of reason to bring this up, but mainly it was because we were all disgusted at the idea that our tax dollars would be supporting flat earthers via exemption. We're not playing that fucking game. No, fuck you guys. If you guys want to spew your conspiracy bullshit, pay your taxes. That
Right.
there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. So we decided to do the right thing. What we did was totally within the law. We have a right to complain. We have a right to do what we do. That's why we have the ability to take these steps, because it's on the IRS's own website. You can go to the SOS of the state of Indiana, and right there's a complaint form on their website, and that's how we did this. We went through the legal channels, and the AG will actually take care of it from there. Our hands are not touching this any further. It's now up to the Attorney General. But because we reported them, they decided to retaliate by issuing fraudulent copyright and privacy complaints, and said, I'll send you a screenshot if you want this, Undoomed, that they are going to be on a campaign of targeted harassment against Slice Arcane and his friends, basically anyone who has ever exposed their BS in the past.
Right. That's the lowest of the low.
Yeah, there's a
Correct.
lot. And the thing is that this isn't just going to affect flat earthers and flat earth debunkers. This is going to start, if you really think they're the only ones that are going to start pulling this off,
Right.
you really don't
Exactly.
think there's anybody else who may get a little bit butthurt, who might actually be legitimate corporations, like, I don't know, maybe AIG?
Yeah, and so given the fact that you and Doom have a history of making people your bitch, I was thinking, you might be able to add to your collection by adding a bunch of flat earthers. Not going to add much value to your collection, but it's something.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it further.
All right, perfect. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to work, because unlike the flat earthers, I actually have a job and make an honest living. But thank you very much, Undoomed, for getting back to me as quickly as you did. I do appreciate it. If you have any questions, just send me a DM. I did a info dump on you, so read through that if you want. But if you need anything, just tweet at me. All right.
No problem. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Reg.
All right.
Yeah,
and one more thing.
Go ahead.
One more thing. Steve McCrae.
Yes, my love.
Go fuck yourself.
Thank you, buddy. Love you too. This is why we're besties. Undoomed's at work too. By the way, it must be nice. Undoomed's like, yeah, I'm at work. I could drop in for a few. I'm like, what the hell? That's awesome. You're at work, but you get to like hang out. That's kind of nice.
Yeah. I'm self-employed.
Oh, nice.
I think we kind of like explained all the stuff the EFI Core. I don't know how long you got, Undoomed, but you might want to stick around because we got some other stuff we want to talk about too. But it's completely up to you. I know you're a busy guy. But we got some SJW stuff to deal with that you may or may not be interested. I know you talk about a little bit about that stuff on your channel occasionally, right?
Well, I got a few more minutes. There's no problem. I don't have a specific time. I just have some stuff I got to get done today. So I'll let you know.
Awesome. So Cheshire, do you want to like drop to people what's been going on with Lizzie, our good friend Lizzie, who's a biologist and love, and what's going on with Essence of Thought or Twat or whatever the hell he calls himself nowadays, and Objectively Subjective, aka the Goddess I Win, which is Demi's bestie, I guess, right, Demi?
No, he's my bitch.
So what's going on there? Because I woke up this morning. I literally woke up this morning, and I'm overrun by Lizzie going, "Man, you missed a whole bunch of shit this morning." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, okay. So what's going on with that is Rachel Oates, who is lovely.
I love Rachel Oates.
I love Rachel.
How can anybody not like Rachel?
I don't know.
Good
They're
grief.
just looking for excuses. Rachel Oates tweeted out that she has a new video out called Christian Girl Throws Shade at Taylor Swift. And it's just a young Christian woman who is upset that the protesters that are protesting gay rights, they're protesting gay rights. So they don't want gay people to be able to get married and homosexuality is a sin and stuff. In this Taylor Swift video, are a poor representation of Christians, and the video never actually calls them Christians, so...
Right, I've seen it, believe it or not, I've actually seen the Taylor Swift video. I know it's hard to believe me, but I happen to kind of like Taylor Swift. It's one of my guilty pleasures. And not just because she's hot, but I actually like her music. I don't know why. I go from Metallica and Black Sabbath and and Rush, Megadeth to Taylor Swift.
Like, shake it off.
Shake it off. Yeah, I don't know. I'm weird like that, right?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan, so I haven't seen the video. But
don't hold it against me, Undoomed. Don't hold it against me, man. I still hardcore metal, man. Don't get me wrong, but
I'm still hardcore, guys.
Yeah. Go on.
So she tweeted out that she was doing that video, and as soon as she did, you've got the people who have been following Essence getting upset and tweeting about, this is a nice sentiment. Can we expect a video calling out rationality rules for his transphobia in the near future?
Okay.
Oh dear.
But the whole point is fucking stupid in the first place, because you do not need to go on a campaign to call out every motherfucker that does a stupid thing to call out one motherfucker that done a stupid thing. Like, that's just not.
But how long is he going to play that card, Demi? I mean, first of all, the rationality rules thing has been addressed and redressed and addressed again multiple times,
and dragged through the mud.
Yeah,
in the face, and then brought back to life and shot in the face again.
The video
shit is old.
The video that Lizzie, myself, and Sarah did. Did you watch that? I think you did, right?
Yeah.
You don't watch my stuff. That's okay. But anyways, we did a video on that, and I think that was the quintessential video that should have been done months ago. And I think we addressed all the high points that the rationality rules was talking about, the criticisms, the pros, the cons, and that is kind of a dead horse. And yet EOT is going to ride that gravy train of persecution porn as long as he possibly can. And yet, who's listening to him? Oh, by the way, Hervisalo, euros. Rush mention. Thank you for that super chat.
Hey.
Rushman. I used to be called Rushman in
Canadian
high school.
band.
Triumph, Rush. I love Canadian. Okay, Zebra. But yeah, so who's listening to Essence of Thought anymore? I mean, the guy has like relegated himself to being in this obscure echo chamber of like four people.
Who was calling out or started calling out Rachel was Red Venture. Now, if we recall, Red Venture was the person calling Steve out months ago before anything with Non Sequitur even happened that was calling him transphobic, who was then invited to the call to explain himself and his point of view and in what ways Steve was transphobic. He then decided to waste everybody's time for quite a while dancing around the issue, and at the end of the day actually refused to say whether or not Steve was transphobic or not until the very, very end where he's like, "You're transphobic," and left.
I'm sorry, we missed a super. You missed. By the way, real quick, we missed a super chat from Barney. How did we do that?
Oh no, Barney, I'll go get it.
Yeah,
I'm
fix
running.
that. Fix that, Josh. It's about you.
Spelling police here. Fix Cheshire's name. She's missing an H. Also, there are other Globe channels being hit by reports and challenges that are not being made public. Yes, there are a large number. I don't want to say a large number. I don't know exactly how many, but off the top of my head, there are at least 4 channels that have been hit with copyright strikes and privacy strike, copy and or one or the other that I can think of. One of them was GPS, Sly, Reds, and there's somebody else, but the name escapes me.
Yeah, by the
way, here's what I don't understand. Do these people really want to make these waves with, YouTube banning all the conspiracy theorists?
Yeah, no, they don't. They're just dumb.
Yeah, and it's funny, but by the way, I don't know how people didn't notice your name was. You didn't even notice your name was misspelled. I'm sorry.
I wasn't looking. I've got other windows pulled up. I've got chat off to the side, but I'm not actually looking at the window itself.
By the way, Undoomed, can you actually see the video? You're not watching the actual video itself, right? Can you see the actual way the video looks?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I have it in a tab here, but
okay,
I'm
cool.
not watching it constantly.
But yeah, so YouTube has said that they're going to not monetize much these conspiratorial channels, right? They're going to not promote them as well.
Yeah.
So there's some cracking down on it, but yet is Jism's channel is his monetized? Do you know? Because I don't think Jism even cares one way or another. His channel's monetized. He made a ton off Patreon until Netflix did the video. What was it? Beyond the Curve. Is that the name of the video or the movie?
Beyond the Curve, yeah.
Is that what it's called? And he exposed himself because he literally did on a camera experiment showing the Earth was not flat. So I think he got hit pretty hard on his Patreon for that. But like Undoomed said, do they really want to start pissing off YouTube? Because they are cracking down on these conspiratorial
Well,
people.
that's what I'm kind of hoping. I don't know if it will actually go this far, but with YouTube doing it, it makes me think that there's a chance that what will end up happening is all of them will get their channels just revoked, just gone.
Yeah. Alex Jones style.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So anybody related with EFI Core, because their names are made publicly available and YouTube will be able to recognize who they are, and because all 7 of them made privacy complaints, which has to come from their accounts, then all 7 of them are going to lose their shit, which includes Bob and
I don't see that. I don't see that happening.
Like I said, there's a chance. I'm not holding out for it, but it's possible.
Yeah. But okay. So anyways, to kind of drive it back to the whole Red Venture thing. Yeah. So Red Venture, real quick. He comes on my channel. And by the way, I if somebody has a legit criticism that's not a complete troll, somebody who's there are people I know by now. There have been people for years coming after me. This is no big secret anymore. Right, this has been exposed completely. So there's a handful of people that I don't ever talk about. I don't mention their names. I want nothing to do with. They're never going to be welcome on any of my platforms. But Red Venture was actually somebody that I actually got along with. So if he had a legit complaint, I was like, okay, come on in. Did we not give him, I don't know what, half hour or more to try to explain to anybody why he possibly in what planet thinks I'm transphobic when I support trans rights? I don't
remember him bringing it up again after he ran away.
I mean, correct me if I'm
did,
wrong.
But I don't recall him doing so.
Isn't anti-ordinary? Isn't Sarah? I mean, they're pretty trans. I support them, for that completely. I've never once would ever bring that up in any kind of pejorative way. And so Red Venture for trying to lay this, narrative on me that I'm somehow transphobic just because I supported, Stephen Woodward's video as far as, what he was attempting. I think that obviously Rationality Rules made some errors, don't get me wrong. His science was a little bit messed up, but he tried correcting it, right? He learned from that. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Isn't that where we advocate for people? Hey, you made a video, you had some problems with it, let's fix it, which he made, one or two after that. I mean, I think he fixed a lot of it. He should be applauded for that.
Yeah, well, that's part of the issue with a lot of this SJW kind of direction and argumentation that they end up using is that even if you do try to make a correction, it's never going to be good enough. And this is an example right here. Rachel Oates hasn't done or said anything. She just didn't call him transphobic. She made an entire video explaining her thoughts and and saying that I think he got some things wrong. I think those things have been corrected. I was there with him while all of this was going on. This was the reaction he was having. This was the reaction I was having to being around him. And here's the corrections that he's made. I don't think he is transphobic, or I'm not convinced that he is transphobic based on these reasons. And people are still asking her to call him out because they think he's transphobic.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way,
which they haven't demonstrated.
Dr. Griffith says it perfectly. She says, it isn't the actions, it's the words. You didn't say the right words. That is how they have power over you. And that's it. That's it. They want you to be very specific in your usage of terminology, which, by the way, I have specific uses, as people know. People get on me because I'm very. They say I'm dependent in it, but I'm really not.
Steve never argues semantics.
I hate semantic arguments. No, stop that. That's what people complain. They're like Steve does semantics. I go, no, I don't. I avoid semantic arguments because they can be interesting sometimes, but it's true. And by the way, even in the trans community, they don't agree upon all things. So if you take one side, right, of the trans and you agree with them, then the other side comes after you. It's like, wait a minute here. And by the way, if you really want to see vitriol, go watch, somebody like Anti-Ordinary or Sarah talk to these TERFs. Oh my God.
Not even that. Just go look at a video of mine saying maybe children shouldn't transition, or like something that isn't the mainstream trans thought process, I guess. I don't know.
But you're not allowed to have your own thoughts. You're not allowed to.
No, not really.
Yeah.
But what I find the most problematic about this situation is that if by the definition of transphobic, homophobic, racist, whatever, I can't relate to racist, so we'll stick to transphobic. Like, if by their definition of ignorance, you're transphobic, almost everyone in my life, my dad, my family, everyone are transphobic, and I know for a fact they're not. And I think people are entitled to be ignorant, and they're allowed to learn and grow from that. And someone like Rationality Rules done that, and he corrected himself. And like, that's more than what most people are willing to do, and that's why we should give someone respect for something like that. Most people would either dig their heels in or just hide from it
and double down.
Making a mistake doesn't make you transphobic, or being incorrect doesn't make you transphobic. Being hateful makes you transphobic.
Right. I think a lot of transphobia comes from hate. Yeah.
Right.
Just holding an opinion that isn't like a common opinion within the trans community also isn't transphobic. I think a lot of the times people on Twitter, like Essence of Thought and Objectively Subjective, go around just screaming at people who have different opinions, calling them transphobic, and they're genuinely, it just baffles my mind that you waste so much of your time crying about people on Twitter calling people trannies, getting myself banned for calling myself a trannie. Yeah.
And that's when the next step, right?
There are women out here, trans women out here being killed almost every fucking day for being trans, and I don't see your tweets about that. I don't see
then we're worried about what you say. Yeah, they want to ban you for what you say.
The only time I see you mentioning trans violence in the real fucking world where it actually impacts people is in reference to you not being misgendered, or someone posting a funny meme or some fucking shit. It's ridiculous. It genuinely is. It's the reason why people look at a community like the trans community and they say they haven't got any issues. They're bitching and crying about fucking pronouns.
Yeah, let me ask you this, and real quick, and Undoomed as well, because I'm sure Undoomed has had to deal with this.
Before you do this, real quick, I'm just going to grab the super chat. Chris said, "Do they have board insurance? An insurance policy to isolate the board members from liability from the corporation's liability. So I'm not sure. I'm going to answer it real quick. I'm not sure if they actually do or not. However, that would do nothing against the privacy complaints, because the privacy complaints have to be filed by
personal.
the
They have to be personally done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Undoomed is familiar with rationality rules or this whole situation. Probably not. I would, but possible.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, no. Half the time I don't either, so we're in the same boat there. Okay, fair enough. But Rationality Rules is a friend of mine and ours. He's into philosophy, very large channel, like 250,000 subs or so. And we just talk about philosophy quite often. But he decided to take a foray into this whole transgenders in sports. And it didn't bode well for him because he probably didn't do enough research on the topic. And so a lot of people had criticized his methodology, some of the science he was talking about. And so he tried to improve upon that and made 1 or 2 videos afterwards, correcting some of that stuff. He said, yeah, I messed up. I wanted to fix it. Here's the newer videos, which most people that understand when people make a mistake and they want to correct it would applaud something like that, but not this guy Essence of Thought.
Well, apparently he also was set up to donate all of the money that was made from that that initial video to the some trans community outreach program or something like that. I'd have to follow up.
Yeah, he the first
what
video.
He actually did, but I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sure on which one he chose or if that's.
I think it was the first one. I think.
It was for the first one. I just don't know if that's been if he's actually followed.
Oh, I'm sure. I trust him.
I would assume that he has.
He's an honest guy. By fact, I've said before, out of all the lay people I know in philosophy, I think he's one of the I think he understands things very, very well.
I'm just prefacing that I just don't know if it's been completed yet or not. I just know that that's what he said he was planning on doing.
So basically, this guy Essence of Thought, for some reason, takes himself to be the whole spokesperson for all the trans people, right? And he speaks for everybody. And he, for some reason, has this narrative that he believes words are violence. And matter of fact, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought I saw a tweet today, matter of fact, him accusing Rationality Rules of being a violent transphobe because of words. Now, I take issue with that. I don't buy into this narrative that words themselves are violence.
Of course not.
Yeah. And so he does. And so his narrative is if you say anything that he personally construes as something that he disagrees with, that's violent content. That's what his mindset. And
yeah, but
that's what we're talking about.
That's where this whole thing always goes wrong. Like they conflate transphobia with disagreeing with the craziness that goes on in their political arm. It's got nothing to do with criticizing the existence of trans people. It's
exactly.
If you're criticizing, like you said before, Demi there, transitioning kids at the age of 4, like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. There's something to be had for that conversation, right? But EOT and Goddess Iwan, aka Objectively Subjective, people like that, I don't even know them, but they don't want to have that conversation. They want to shut down that dialogue. They say, how dare you even discuss this topic? You don't have a right to discuss this topic. And we have a pretty free-form format here. My channel has always been one of those channels that we'll talk just about anything. There's few subjects that are taboo. I don't allow like Holocaust deniers to come in. I don't deal with any of that. But for the most part, we'll talk about any topic, right? People can say what they got to say. But these people have set themselves down in this little echo chamber to pat themselves on the back with virtue signaling and go, oh, look how virtuous we are by trying to call out Rationality Rules. Let's go after Demi. They have actually deplatformed her on Twitter because she's
Twice in 1 month.
She's not allowed to say anything. She can't speak for herself. She has to lockstep agree with other transgender people, or she doesn't fit in. She's not one of them. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
But to be completely clear, it's kind of like that in the real world as well. It's not just online on Twitter or anywhere. I've never really found myself a part of the LGBT community outside of inherently being a member of it, because it is very political. You have to kind of share the same opinions to be accepted within the group, and I'm just too much of a drama queen.
Real quick, if I can, I got a special guest in the live chat that I haven't seen in the live chat before that I want to say hi to.
Before we do that, Mr. Meat Lover Mr. Meta Lover 666 says transphobia meat lover. Whatever. Freudian.
I can relate.
Transphobia definition, disagreeing with EOT on what topping to have on a pizza.
Yeah, that's true, by the way.
Yeah.
Also, Essence of Thought, the tweet you're talking about, I think I found it. It's him misquoting Rachel Oates that says, quote, "I have no interest in this topic, but I'll lie to defend my violently transphobic piece of shit friend," end quote, "has to be the most honest take I've heard in a while. Enter, if you can't be bothered to learn how Woodford's content is transphobic, keep your damn mouth shut."
Oh man,
To Rachel Oates.
Yeah, it irritates me because again, Rachel Oates is one of the nicest people I've ever met, and I remember back in the day when she had like 200 subs. She came on this channel, she had like 200 subs. Now she's pushing 100,000. So she's made it for herself.
Please say hello to your friend, and then I'm going to jump real quick.
Yeah, well, I want to shout out again to Rachel because I've known Rachel a very long time, and I'm so glad that she's actually has a very strong channel now. Ryby Jenkins is actually in the live chat. I've been trying to get a hangout for Ryby with very, very long time. She doesn't do any hangouts any longer. If you guys may or may not know who she is, she used to be on Peasants quite frequently. Back in the day, I think she does still voice work. But I just gave her moderator. But a big shout out to Ryby if you guys remember her. But I don't think she's ever been in my live chat before. She's been in Drunken Peasants when I've been on DP. But just want to say hi to her. I do know she is. She doesn't barely knows who I am because I am only on DP like twice a month when she's able to pop by. But anyways, I was a huge fan of her back in the day. So
there's kind of an issue. Yeah, there's kind of an issue with this tweet in Essence of Thought's representation of what Rachel Oates is saying. Not just that he misquoted the shit out of her, ignoring that garbage and saying if you can't be bothered to learn how Woodford's content is transphobic, keep your damn mouth shut. So in that section right there, seems to be representing as if she hasn't done that. She is friends with him. She also did her own video regarding this. And as I said earlier, she said that she didn't think he was transphobic. So even after having looked at it, learning about it, and checking the topic and with other sources that she lists in her own video, she disagrees that he's transphobic. You don't get to say she's defending or supporting somebody who is violently transphobic when they don't think they're transphobic. Demonstrate how he's transphobic or violently transphobic then you can have the conversation. It's not a matter of she's bothered to not learn. She made a video
But they throw these things out there like they're one, they use it as an insult, obviously, rather than a descriptor. And so it's if you don't agree with somebody, oh, look, you're transphobic, you're homophobic, you're racist, you're all these other terminologies that people that have knee-jerk reactions say, you know what, I heard that guy's transphobic. I can't associate with him. I heard that guy is, homophobic. I can't associate with him. They don't ever bother half the time to actually go to the source and talk to them. Because anybody who knows me knows that those descriptors are just so not applicable to me. It's ridiculous. I actually left the Mormon Church because in 2008, they were having funding for going against the California Prop 8 for gay marriage. And I was like, wait a minute. No, I don't think that a church should be doing this, right? That was one of the things that really bothered me. That led to my, leading into my now agnostic position. But, I
fucking homophobic.
Right, I know. I'm so homophobic for wanting for supporting gay marriage, right?
Hey, guys,
weird.
I think Kyle stole the show and is kind of a piece of shit. I guess I'm homophobic now.
Well, it's funny. You can't.
Wow.
If you say something about a protected group, like for example, we see on Twitter that recently, and if you want to talk about May, by all means, but if you say something about somebody and they happen to be a protected class, if you're not talking about them being a protected class, like example, I don't care that they're gay, I don't care that they're trans, whatever. But if you just think that they're idiots, that all of a sudden gets translated to them as, oh, well, you think I'm an idiot because I'm gay or I'm trans or something like that. And I don't understand how that works.
I think you're an idiot because you're an idiot.
Yeah, you're just basically an idiot.
You mean,
go ahead. Go ahead, Jim.
If you're LGBT member, they are not going to say, if you disagree with me or you dislike me, that means you're transphobic, because they're secure in their identity. It's usually people who are just on Twitter literally living their life through a screen that do that shit, or people that are like, you meet a lot of young kids, a lot of young teenagers that are coming out as trans or gay, and they think the whole world's against them and everything's hard, but that's part of being a teenager.
Exactly.
Right.
Go ahead, Undoomed.
Josiah said, here's money.
Wait,
I may be
Jess?
shilling backwards, smiley face. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you, who is this guy? Essence of Thought, was it?
Yeah.
Is this like some influential voice or?
Well, he thinks he is. I mean, he like I said, he thinks he's the spokesperson for trans. He's in a very, very small cliquish community.
Well, let's see. Let's check his numbers.
Okay,
let's check his numbers.
I'll read the super chats real quick. Josiah, here's money. I may be shilling backwards. Thank you. Cammy S, $5. Is a hot dog a sandwich? No. But
it's a taco.
Yeah, I like both sandwiches and hot dogs, but no.
Well,
hot dogs
I think it is a sandwich, so you're transphobic.
I disagree with you, and I'm ejecting you, and I'm silencing your voice.
Okay, now he's sexist, too. He hates women.
Blocked and reported. Predicus, $2. Chesh, caught up with your artwork. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
She has
so
awesome.
Good. So good.
I'm not. It's not just because I'm friends with her. She actually has good artwork. I'm not just like stroking her ego. Bubble Buster, $3, drops $3 on the ground. Thank you, Bubble Buster. Jim Majors, $2. No, nothing. He didn't say anything.
Hi, Jim.
Jim didn't say anything. That's unusual for Jim. Oh, message retracted. He just. Hey, thanks, Jim. Jim. I love Jim.
Does that retract the dollars?
No, it's just a message.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Jim has come. By the way, I'm going to put a shout out to Jim Majors. He's come a very long way. When he came into the community, he was relatively new. He was the CEO of Atheist Republic, as people remember, and he had his own path. He had his own narrative, and he had his own thoughts. And people criticized for him that. And I told him, dude, you do you, right? And he has his own channel now that he should be able to shout out rather than $2 to say penis. Because that sounds like Jim, but
he's come so far.
He's come so far, and yet, well, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But he has his channel now. I think he's going to put out great content. I saw his trailer, so big shout out to Jim. I'm proud of you, man. I'm glad that you have just found your voice. It's not easy it's not really not. It really isn't, especially when you're being criticized from all fronts, right? Because if you don't have lockstep with a lot of different groups, this is why people think that I'm controversial. If I don't happen to agree with Atheist Experience or American Atheist or whatever group is out there, Steve's just causing waves. Steve's causing a schism. It's like, no, I happen to disagree with him. But let me tell you why. Let me give you my reasoning. William Peterson is a taco sandwich.
No, it's a taco.
Taco. Curvy New Yorker, 666 for the cause. Thank you, Curvy New Yorker. But anyways.
I also want to say a special thanks to Jim as well, because he's the one who sent me a new cord. I'm still waiting for it. Hopefully it'll show up, but then I'll be able to do more art again soon. Yay! So thank you, Jim. You're a sweetheart.
So Undoomed.
But yeah, go check out his channel. He does some cool shit.
So Undoomed, I mean, you firsthand have to deal with a lot of this stuff. I mean, you do get labeled.
Oh, yeah.
So
Essence of Thought's numbers. 31K subscribers, 2,000... over 2,600 followers.
Right. I never heard him.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, you're better off for it. But he does have a little bit of influence only because he's 30,000 is a pretty decent channel now. I had a channel that was bigger than that at one time. I'm sure you know the story. I don't know if you do or don't, but whatever. There's litigation there, so I can't go into detail. But if Cheshire wants to speak about it, she can. I just am, for legal reasons, not saying anything. But that's good. It's really good, actually. But Chess, you want to does Undoomed ever watch Non Sequitur? I don't remember.
No, I'm not up to speed to what's going on with that.
We'll fill you in another time unless Chess wants to.
Oh Lord, yeah, that's a whole different slew of nonsense.
Right.
Actually, you know what I can do is I can link you to the in-time coverage of it, because that actually covered it pretty well.
Yeah,
I may or may not have in-time coverage of what's going on with FE Core.
I had a very large channel that was, I guess, appropriated,
revoked,
and I'm in a very large civil litigation with that right now. But that's another time. I don't want to drag down the chat with that. People are like, Steve talks about that.
Yeah.
Before, and
Charlie
I don't want to go into it.
$2 said Essence of Thought doesn't speak for me. What the fuck? Yeah? Is a runza a sandwich? What's a runza?
A runza.
What's a runza?
Runza is
it's
like a hot pocket.
Oh, it's a burrito.
Well, it's more like a hot pocket, isn't it? With a
bread pocket filled with filling consisting of beef, cabbage, sour. Fucking what? Oh my god! Oh, sauerkraut, onions.
Sauerkraut, yeah. Sauerkraut, cabbage, yeah.
Sounds like a spring onion. Spring roll.
Spring roll, yeah, spring roll.
Yeah.
But it's
But it's
big.
bread. But it's
like-
breaded. It's more like a hot pocket. I thought it's a calzone. Yeah, more like a calzone with sauerkraut and
There we
cabbage.
go.
Pizza roll.
Pizza roll.
James Collins says EFI Core is going down. Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so.
Hopefully.
All right, so moving on to the next drama, I guess. By the way, we're gonna have a conversation on this channel about what people want on this channel. Now, I actually have some people that are sponsoring this channel. I guess you can say very large donors and people that of prestige that actually watch this particular channel now. This is how I got a very expensive computer system. I will be putting out a lot more scientific content, a lot more philosophical content on this particular channel, and transferring a lot of the other stuff to the Great Debate Community channel at some point. But I want to ask the audience, while Jess goes in the next thing, that whatever she wants to talk about, how often do they want to see at least updates on this particular channel? Now, I know people are inquisitive about what's going on with the Non Sequitur show. I understand that. There's only so much I can say about that. I think In Time did a brilliant breakdown. I think Unirock did a brilliant breakdown. So all you got to do is go watch their stuff. I agree with them about 99% of what they said. So there's nothing I can add on until the civil litigation gets further down the line. People know that I'm suing for a very large amount of money. But I don't want to make this channel a lot about drama, but I like the Caffeine Corner once a week on Mondays or Tuesdays, depending on when we can get together, to kind of fill people in. But I'll ask the audience how often they want to see it. Copernicus, $2. Great support by Chess, Red, Sly, REFE Core. Thank you. I'm just surprised that my channel hasn't been affected by that yet. They haven't come after me yet, but I don't
Maybe
back
they didn't
down.
Notice.
No. Well, I know Anthony Riley was. I know he's not FE Core, but he was in the live chat. And he even threatened. He said, all you guys' channels are going to be affected by this. So,
Ooh, spooky.
whatever. Yeah. Ooh. I don't back down. People realize me and Reds, we don't back down. We don't take threats kindly, and we don't bluff. People that mess with Reds and I usually end up on this short end of the fuck stick, for the most part. Or become friends with them. I mean, Demi and I used to be embittered enemies, and now we're just great frenemies. Love her to death, but
but don't pretend you won that.
I win. No, G-Man wins. G-Man always wins.
G-Man always.
Hey, by the way, there you go. Great segue. I didn't even think about that. By the way, Exploratory Minds Project, £2. Keep up the great work. I love this channel. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Charlotte, $5. You can't have a conversation if only one person is speaking. This is true. This is why I like Barney. That's because you're the queen of internet drama, and they shouldn't dare come at you. It's funny is I don't create drama. I just respond to certain things. Right? I would rather have this channel have none of this, to be honest with you. But
at this point, what we're doing now is just reporting essentially on what the hell is going on with everybody. And the only reason we're even really talking about this right now and not doing some other dumb stuff that I had planned that has to do with video games and Cyberpunk 2077 is because there was just so much that went on this week. There was just
a lot.
So much.
I gotta owe somebody a Portal 2 run. We're gonna be waiting for Cheshire to get her computer up and running before we do Portal 2. I have
actually got it fixed now. I got it fixed.
Okay, so we got to do a Portal 2 run, and I'm going to do a Kerbal Space Program stream. Maybe even do that tonight. I don't know. But we're going to be orbiting or trying to land on the Mun, maybe. A Mun. This is called just the Mun. I've done it. I've landed on the Mun by myself. I've done the whole orbital maneuvers, so I think I got it down. But I'm going to have people help me build the ship from scratch. It's not like a tutorial because I've only been playing it 3 days. But I've got decent at it. I've learned. I know physics, so I guess orbital mechanics I have some understanding of. But anyways, Cheshire, do you want to talk next about either Cyberpunk or do you want to go into G-Man and your appearance on Drunken Peasants on September 3rd?
Well, briefly.
Oh, that's
really
tomorrow.
quick,
Shoot, that's tomorrow.
Yeah, that is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Lizzie made a really good point in when they were talking with some of Essence of Thought's people. I don't know. Are they their people? I don't know. This one was saying, no one has said that Rachel is a bad person. Good people make mistakes. You're just an honest representation is what concerns and is making people sad. Lizzie had responded with, your continuous hammering on this at people who weren't responsible in the first place is what is sad here. Please get a life. And I think that kind of wraps up shit with Essence of Thought.
All right, so NANA 666 FE Core. I love you guys are exposing those scam artists. Thank you. By the way, the real credit goes to, honestly, is Reds Rhetoric, Sean Hufford, Slice Arcane, AT2 Jared, or AT2 Productions, aka Jared, and those guys over there. Now, I'm intricately a part of the anti-flat Earth community, obviously. But they are a lot more active constantly. That's what they do, right? So I'm thrilled to be part of that. But they're the ones that, especially Sean Hufford, has really done so much due diligence on this particular topic. But Cheshire, since we got Undoomed here, he might be interested in the Cyberpunk 2070 issue more than the going on DP tomorrow. Well, and by the way, real quick, Barney, I'm not doing a rendezvous thing on Kerbal. That's hard. But Kerbal's not an easy game, by the way. I think every flat earther should get Kerbal Space Program and learn basic rocketry and understand orbital mechanics, because you really do need a kind of a understanding of the mechanics to really play that game. It's not even a game at that point. It's actual like science and stuff. But go ahead, Chesh.
All right, so with Cyberpunk 2077, there were two things that we could talk about with it. I think we're probably going to go with the written half, because that might be a little bit more compelling. Although we could go with, actually, you know what? This kind of bounces off of the essence of thought and what they were talking. Did I almost call them essence of twat?
I call him essence of twat anymore. I just can't stand the guy.
Well, either way, what they've done is they've actually removed binary options from the game. So you don't pick whether or not you're a male or a female. What you do pick is body types and options that way, and as well as like your voice and your eye color. So it's a very extensive option. Like all the options are there. Like the same like Skyrim had all of these options, especially if you started downloading extra packs. So Cyberpunk has the same kind of thing. It's got large amounts of options between hair color, styles, and now they've added body type, and they've just removed the binary option where you pick male or female. It's Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, a lot of those things have. So you could pick whether you're a mesomorph, ectomorph, endomorph. So you could adjust your body types like that. But they no longer have this dichotomous male-female thing, which is, by the way, pretty ubiquitous in games since I've been playing games. Hate to break it to people again. Things are dimorphic in humans. We've covered that. When you have bimodal distribution, you have male on one side, female on the other side, and for a non-binary, they usually say that they are neither, which is fine. I mean, that's logically that could make sense, but logically does not make sense in a bimodal distribution, as tried to explain to May before, that you cannot be both. You cannot be 100% male and female. That doesn't make sense in a bimodal distribution. You could be neither, because you'd be halfway midpoint, equidistant from both sides, but you can't be on both 100% nodes. So, but do you think that they're introducing this like, for example, in license right now, you could actually be non-binary. Fine, whatever. When it comes to the gaming community, do you think the gaming community even cares that whether they add an option? Okay. So I'm not okay. I'm not in that part of the gaming community. So go ahead.
I think they're actually hostile to anything like this.
My God.
But is that because they want to outrage?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Link Steve to our gaming circle jerk.
So like my opinion on that whole removing the sex thing is, I just think it's kind of pointless, but like I'm all for making games better in any possible way. And if you give me more options to be able to customize my character and stuff, and all you had to sacrifice was a title, because let's be real, your fucking Cyberpunk motherfucker is not an actual sex. It's some model in a game. It's not actually a sex. So if you make it look like a certain sex, then it's essentially that sex in your mind anyway, because you're looking at it and you see it as a man, you're looking at a woman. So if I just get a better game, then it doesn't bother me. But it would bother me if they were just doing it for like, oh yeah, we don't want to trigger anyone.
But I tend to play. I tend to play female characters. Like for WoW, I play female characters for the most part.
Right. You mean you don't play by what you identify?
No, not at all.
Weird.
Gasp! No, yeah. So what is it? Do I have game gender dysphoria?
No, you're sexist just because you want to look at the female characters.
My mage in WoW for 10 years, she was female, one of the best PvP reviewers on the server. I was actually one of the best PvPers on Silvermoon. But it's the only game I actually got good at, right? Suck at everything else, but WoW, I was a good PvPer. Get good. I would decimate your ass. I would pyro too. With that frost stuff, I was good when pyro was.
Oh yeah, no. Well, the thing is that pyro is one of the best mages back in the day. If you could get
play it,
right.
yeah.
Exactly.
That's because frost was. Right. Oh, everybody plays frost. I was like, no, man, you get good. play Pyro. That took a lot of practice to get good at Pyro for the rotation, like you said.
Had to know your rotation,
Ignite exactly.
Yeah, and you had to be close. You had to be in melee. Well, not in melee, but you had to be close.
You had a kite. You had a really a melee.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a mage, melee won't always go after you. So that's why I got good, because they were always trying to kill me.
Yeah. So of course, people in the gaming community freaked the fuck out. By the way, you can still be a male or a female. You just it's what it seems to me is like it's going to be more of a slider option where you have your body types where it's like thin, and you can just slide around.
So you have like male and female slider, and you go to the middle.
I don't think they're going to have male or female. I think they're just going to have. They might do masculine, feminine. I don't know yet. They haven't.
Okay, but at that point, isn't it just a difference without a distinction without a difference?
Maybe, but because they're making it non-binary where you pick one or the other and the slider is in between, people are freaking the fuck out.
Well, you could be in between and be non-binary. Like I said, that would make sense in the bimodal. You just couldn't be on the opposite poles.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly.
Yeah, but let's be fucking real. It's a video game. Does it have to be realistic? It's literally a video game.
Well, I don't know. Logic's logic,
I've never
though.
flown a jet through a city and blown up like cars and got 5-star wanted, like in the middle of LA.
Have you wanted to?
Yeah, so many times.
I do. Do you play games?
Yeah, I play.
Well, hang on. I was actually on Doom.
Sorry. Okay, I haven't played any of those games. I'm more kind of a real-time strategy guy, but yeah, I've seen some of the reactions to it, and I can't really muster up any outrage over it. It's like, okay, maybe that was a bad move since a lot of people are upset by it, but okay, it's a private company, I guess. That kind of stupid argument.
They're allowed to. No, they're allowed to. Look at they're placating to a demographic. I get it. I don't care what gamers do.
Well, the thing
if that's what the gamers want.
they've decided to do is they've decided to specifically go out of their way to make it more inclusive. Male and female are still there. It's just now we've made it more. There's more options for.
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with it. I don't care one way or another.
It makes sense because this not only does this exist in the future, this exists in a world where you can augment your body using cybernetics and look however you want. In fact, if you can't play as an anime cat girl in this game, they're doing it wrong.
I get that, but what about all the other games that aren't going to do it that way? What happens to them?
Nothing. They don't have anime.
Are they gonna protest?
Of course not. Because gamers, a lot of the gaming community, I shouldn't say a lot of the gaming community, there's a section of the gaming community that doesn't like any change. These are the kind of people who are getting outraged that they added female options to like a medieval game, saying, well, females weren't knights back in the day.
Oh yeah, the immersion thing. Like, for example, you could be a female and fight in Nazi Germany, right? Against the fight against.
Yeah, they got upset that might have been an option, and they were like, "Well, women weren't in World War II," and it's like, "Well, yeah, they were, but okay."
But they weren't on the front line. But these games that are immersive, they take away, I guess, from that characters.
Historical.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Accurate like that. Right. William Peterson said, "Let's protest the game for Reds since they don't have an attack helicopter gender."
Unirock said something nice about me, but I don't know what the hell he said. By the way, hey, Unirock. What did he say about that? He never says anything nice about me. I'm just kidding. I've been watching his stuff. You know what's funny? Real quick, I've actually watched more Unirock stuff than anybody's lately. I'll be playing a game and I'll just put Unirock on the back, listening.
So what was the reaction
to
the Cyberpunk thing?
A good number of people essentially got upset in saying that, well, there are only two genders, and how dare you make this kind of change, and a lot of transphobia.
Right. I mean, there's certainly games that argument could apply to, but like I said, I don't know much about Cyberpunk, that game, but as far as I understand, it's like you say, you can switch your body parts and all sorts of crazy shit. So
yeah,
it made more sense to me in that context, but yeah, I don't know.
Can I say, like, this all feels fishy, though? Like, I feel like trans issues is like a core marketing, like, thing for Cyberpunk, because it was like a couple of weeks ago, it was the tranny dick controversy, wasn't it?
What was that?
Yeah, on one of the billboards in the game, they had a trans woman, but you could quite clearly see her dick through the shorts on a poster.
You see the bulge?
Yeah, you can see a bulge in the shorts is
Okay.
with a clear outline, advertising some soda or something like that, and everyone got outraged about that. And it just feels a little bit like either they're really trying to represent trans people in this game, or they're really riding that triggering.
You
thing
can't win.
for gaming.
But you can't win. You don't know their motive, and no matter what the developers do, somebody's going to be outraged. This is the outrage culture that we have. It's like whatever it is, I want to be outraged at. I'll find something to be outraged about. Right?
In my mind, I just thought it was kind of equal. Like, I saw people saying, "Oh my God, you're sexualizing fucking trans women," and I'm just like, "Yeah, but they sexualize men and women in every
I don't get that.
What's wrong with that? I can feel like if trans people get to a level of acceptance in being completely equal, I don't see any reason to expect there won't be trans people being used sexually to advertise products. Because
really, sorry.
Yeah, why would it be any different than any other sexualization of
Real
something?
quick, somebody actually did make the argument for Reds in here. It says, can I augment myself to be an American twin turbo shaft attack helicopter with a tailwheel type landing gear arrangement and a tandem cockpit for a crew of 2?
I find that hot. That's sexy.
I think that's my new gender.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yummy. By the way, Debbie does sell nudes. By the way, just FYI. So.
I would like to point out that according to the developers, this was not made as a marketing ploy, according to them. Now, whether or not you want to believe them and whether or not you want to read the interview for yourself, that's totally fine. But what they said is that they are just trying to be more inclusive, that they want people to have as many options in character creation as possible. And because there's so many more people out there, it's not just as simple as male and female anymore. So they wanted to broaden what they could do and maybe help push gaming in a more positive direction, be less exclusionary.
But it does kind of push a narrative as well, though, doesn't it? Like, if that's I thought they were just doing it for like gameplay things, but like there is no one out there that's like a non-sexed person, right? There's people that are always one sex or the other, even if you're intersexed of some kind. So it feels like it's a game just agreeing with their philosophy, I guess.
But let me get this right. You can still be like a Playboy Bunny or a fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. You can tweak your body to be as masculine or feminine as you want, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
So they're not trying to take away those options.
No.
So if you play something like Dark Souls, you or Skyrim or a lot of games, they'll say male or female, and then you can scale your body type from there. You can make your tits bigger, you can make your ass bigger, you can be fat, you can be super skinny, you can be tall and lanky, you can be super short, but you still have to pick between male and female before you get to that point. So it seems like they've just removed that step.
Right. Okay.
Which in all reality is just entirely frivolous, really, isn't it? Like I said, it's just
really
a
not a
character
big deal.
model. That they're not actually sexed. They just look a certain way, and at the end of the day, it's how you perceive them. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that a lot of with the way this game is designed, from what I can tell between screenshots, and again, we'll have to wait and see until the game actually comes out to see how much of an effect this has, because this is a first-person game. So a lot of the time, you're not going to be seeing your character anyway.
yeah.
The other half of the discussion was they've added religions. So, through the initial mention of religions in Cyberpunk 2077 caused quite a stir. It seems that the tone of the company statements was lost in translation. Quote, "We do not want to avoid religion as a topic. Authenticity of the world is what counts for us. In our quests, which involve religious themes, we make sure that there is no disrespect." So essentially, there are going to be religions within the game that you're going to be able to interact with.
Yeah, I find nothing wrong with that. A lot of games, a lot of role-playing games, various religions.
Yeah, but the thing is that they're going to be using real-life religions like Christianity.
I don't.
And
well, I'm
upset.
sure someone will be getting offended.
But why?
Sure. I don't know, but they will.
Well,
yeah, they get offended over Pokemon. Like,
yeah.
Well, Pokemon's serious business. I get that.
Evolution's not rule. How did my Charmander become a Charizard?
Exactly, I get that. I understand that mindset, right?
Evolution.
Well, the interesting thing about this, to me, isn't necessarily that the game is going to have religions. It's been the reaction. So one of the first comments, it's the second comment down, and I'll read both comments so you get a little bit of context, so I don't take this person out of position. So the first comment says, stories exist to explore environments, challenge the reader, and create relatable characters and situations. The world does not pander to your personal sensitivities. Games should not either. If you want to crawl into an echo chamber of your own cotton wool lined fear, go for it. And the response to this was, and of course this applies to everybody, including misguided atheists. The only concern I would have is that they push a viewpoint with no way for people to counterpoint. That's annoying. If their goal isn't to simply deposit their worldview on gamers, like so many of these games do nowadays, fine. Okay. So if a book talks about religion and talks about maybe a specific religion in a negative light, does that mean that they are pushing a narrative without a counterpoint? Does every book have to have the counterpoint, or every story have to have the
No,
counterpoint?
of course not. Of course not.
Yeah, I mean, we are the counterpoint sometimes. Undoomed is the counterpoint sometimes. People say, "Hey, Steve, you know, when we were doing the non sequitur show, we would bring some people on just unilaterally, right? One person rather than having two people with opposite points. And people would say, "Well, where's the counterpoint?" Well, you don't always have to provide a counterpoint. Sometimes the person on is providing the counterpoint from the narrative that's speaking the loudest out there. It's not always about having equal opportunities in the same show. For example, I will have somebody on maybe to talk about something, and then somebody says, "You know what? I totally disagree with them." I'll have that person on, later on. So when you have a book, or you have a movie, or you have a game, it's not supposed to be this, debate type structure. It's not supposed to be like you have a person and you have an interlocutor and you have back and forth.
Yeah, the audience could be the counterpoint.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. My live chat's counterpoint. My mods are counterpoint half the time.
And keep in mind that this is a game. You're going to be able to interact with the world. You, the player, might be the counterpoint within the game itself.
Right.
Yeah,
it's all this fear of as soon as you say something, it's going to indoctrinate someone. Like, come on.
or trigger.
Yeah, well, that too.
I'm getting tired of that, dude. I really am. I mean, people. First of all, people have seen me around for a long while. I've been on for like 7 years. I've had YouTube. It's any big surprise that I could be abrasive sometimes. It's any big surprise that on Twitter I can kind of call people out on their shit. I don't know why people make a big deal about that any longer. It's like they should know by now. But I still have people get triggered for the stupidest things, and it's like
mean to me.
I'm like, hello. I'm just trying to show why you're incorrect, and all of a sudden you start coming at me personally. I'm going to be a little personal back, at least not a lot, but I'm going to throw a little bit of shade. Come on. I'm not going to be pushed over, By the way,
free to play makes.
But
Sorry, go ahead.
no,
I was
that's
gonna
the
say,
way it
free
is.
to play.
Yeah.
Free to play makes a decent point. It says you can only interact with some of it, and only in ways that the writers predict or are offering to you. Yes, there are. The games are one of the only media that the counterpoint can actually be written in a way that is interactive, as it is one of the only mediums that is interactive with that kind of way. So in this case, the game could theoretically have the counterpoint built in, and you might never know it if you don't play that route, or if you don't decide to make those decisions. So if they've got one religion, let's say they've got it set up like factions, and you've got one faction and you've got another faction, and and the way you interact with the world depends on how those factions then start interacting with the world that you've made changes to, and the interactions between the factions. You could tip the scales one way or the other. You could decide that, this faction are the bad guys and this faction are the good guys, so f these guys, and just take them out entirely.
Sounds like Star Wars, because people have been saying the Sith is actually the good thing and the Force or Jedi is actually evil, and
Yeah.
Right.
So
And you
exactly.
you also don't have to like everything. If this game decides to take a huge shit on religion or atheism or whatever, and that's so important to you, well, you have the option of not playing it.
What? No, stop that crazy talk. You have options not to play. No, what's wrong with you?
No, but I think it's unreasonable for game developers to expect that they're going to make something for everyone. That's stupid.
Yeah, well,
There's always someone's going to get butt hurt. That's just the way it is.
but isn't that the way with all platforms?
Oh yeah.
I have said this to numerous people. The greatest advice I could give them. I even gave this to way back when. Listen or not, you can. But I've said you cannot please everybody. I've said this for years and years and years. Don't even try. You cannot please everybody. Don't even try. That's been my mantra for a very, very long time. Because as soon as you try to please everybody, you please nobody. You have to stick with what you like and let people decide whether they want to watch or not. And I tell people, if they're not, I've had people complain, "Hey Steve, I love your stuff, watch everything, but this one episode didn't like, unsub." It's like you just don't watch that one episode. I don't understand that. I mean, by the way, if people really want to get triggered and you really want to do it right, contact Demi. She'll make an awesome diss track.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, fuck you so much.
It's what you do. I mean, what is it called? Trans rap?
I know. I have fire cringe. Yeah.
I didn't realize that was actually a thing. I was making it up. Trans rap. She's like, no, that's real.
It's not a thing.
It is. I guess it is. I've seen it.
I was playing into your stupidity.
I don't know anything about this topic.
Greatness.
I am way too white to understand rap very well. I like Eminem,
We're talking to the Milky Bar, bitch. What are you talking about?
I go back to like Run DMC and Sugar Hill Gang, that kind of stuff. I don't understand a lot of the newer rap. It's just mumble.
Well, yeah, mumble rap is its own genre.
Can't stand that stuff.
So this person then you've got another person that goes on to say how they're excited to see a wide range because Cyberpunk is known for having very multicultural societies and seeing different religions, and adding that to the world. So essentially, they're taking the Cyberpunk world that already exists, which is already very multicultural and very advanced, and adding more to it. So they've added religion. They're adding these non-binary options into the world to help expand it. This person's excited to see that. Then, of course, you've got somebody who comes in, see, that's the problem. This is something less informed people might believe. They're saying that at some point they mentioned in their big ass blurb that I guess I can't find it, but they quoted it and said, this is because science is making the existence of gods less likely. See, that's the problem. This is something less informed people believe. Science shows the existence of a god is almost a certainty, and if this is what they intend to push, it's going to piss some off. Some, not yourself, some. I digress.
Well, I think by 2077, whenever Cyberpunk is, probably secular humanism will probably be more prevalent than it is even now.
Hopefully, we can hope.
They have predictions that in one point in the far off future will be just one homogeneous race.
One homogeneous religion, one mono religion of who gives a shit. That's everybody was just being apatheist,
Darwinism.
So,
if they're going to, if they're going to project this ill-informed layman's view of the world, where it's all just about finding meaning and the science most people know nothing about obviously must refute the existence of God, run on sentences, they would be crossing lines.
Now, where's this from? What's this from?
This is the comment section.
Oh, okay.
It would be more of an annoyance than a deal breaker. It's annoying when ignorant and illogical people have free reign. Next comment. Oh, bugger off. I love comment section.
We're 90 minutes in. We do keep these down to 2 hours, so we have about 30 minutes left, guys. So I'm going to do a quick transition, if we may, because I want to get this in because I think we covered this. Tomorrow, Cheshire, Unirock, and Reds Rhetoric, all three of them, I have arranged to be on Drunken Peasants with Ben and Billy. They're going to be covering some quite a few number of things. Chesh, you want to speak about that real quick? And if Ryby's still in the live chat, maybe she can actually join too. I don't know, but like I said, my goal is to get Ryby in a stream, but I don't have her on Twitter. I don't think she even has a Twitter account. She kind of left social media, so got to figure out how to.
I don't blame you.
No, I don't blame her either. No, I really don't. But I got to figure out how to
We should do a rum and coke.
I've invited her to rum and coke before. I've invited Undoomed to rum and coke. I've invited Billy Ben to rum and coke.
People are just really.
Ben wants to do rum and coke. He's just busy.
He's calling you up for rejecting his invitation.
Who?
Undoomed.
invitation?
Sorry, what?
What? No, I didn't. No. And Dupes, when he's not busy, he said he'd drop by. He did like hearing him. By the way, I think that it's to have somebody like Undoomed that can actually maybe make a difference with something like EFI Core. It's great because we are trying to reach out to people. We take these things very seriously. I don't like seeing my friends screwed over. I don't like seeing people manipulated, and I certainly don't like people abusing systems. This is what this channel has stood for a very long time, and I would do anything for Reds Rhetoric. I mean, he's like my brother. So, I mean, I'm not going to be one of those people who say, oh, it's none of my business. It's his Reds problem. This is like Sparkane's problem. No, I'm going to get involved. But speaking of which,
yeah, I may or
what
may
you doing
not be
tomorrow?
whipping out I may or may not be whipping out the claws a little bit tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you on who, but I might be calling out a little bit of bullshit. We're also going to be going in on G-Man and Kyle and GE because my God, I had to sit through that whole thing on normal speed, and my brain, I don't feel like I deserve this.
Well, tell them what's about.
The discussion with G-Man? The discussion with G-Man was about his issues with the LGBTQ plus community.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So the title of the stream was G-Man's issue with homosexuality, essentially.
Oh,
That's
okay. Okay.
Who's G-Man?
Oh, don't ask that question, please. You don't know what you're at. You don't know what you're in for when you ask that kind of question. How much duct tape do you have? Because if you don't have a full roll to wrap around your head, you're not going to want to hear the answer.
Okay. I guess maybe it'll become clear.
Cheshire in a nutshell. How do you describe G-Man?
Oh God, that's how.
Yeah, he's
a crazy religious fundamentalist.
He's not the sharpest knife in the cutlery set. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really uneducated. Gets everything wrong.
He's very loud.
Very boisterous. I'm sure you know Aaron Raw. Him and Aaron Raw had a discussion on my channel once called Pine Crones and Elephants, and it was one of the funniest. I'm just going to say it. That was the funniest hangout on YouTube.
It was pretty funny.
I've never seen a funnier hangout. So it was just a riot. But he's just over the top, nonsensical, and he likes to debate people. He's never won a debate ever, but he thinks he's won all of them. But he actually won one just recently against two people, Godless Engineer and Kyle.
He told GE's wife to get back in the kitchen. It was amazing.
I never thought I'd see the day where somebody like Godless Engineer not just lost to Ken Hovind, he lost to Ken Hovind and to G-Man. How would you even want to be on the internet after that? I couldn't imagine.
I don't. There's I think I summed it up in a tweet when I finished watching it. It's 2 hours long, and I have never seen so many people within the debate, including KC, because you couldn't see her, but you could hear her. I've never seen so many people who all disagreed, all look so smug at the same
and wrong.
time.
I watched part of it, and I was like, oh my God, do they not understand what the hell G-Man's saying? You could counter this, and they're just saying the most dumbest rhetoric. I mean, I've never seen G look that pathetic. And I've seen it look pretty pathetic before, but oh my God. I was just blown away that they had no idea how to counter any of G-Man's arguments. Now, people don't believe this. They were in the live chat going, "You're making this shit up. G-Man's won something? No, that's impossible." That's like Ken Hovind actually winning a debate. By the way, Undoomed, you do know Kent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, me and Kent go way back. In fact, you can blame me. After Kent got out of prison, I kind of reintroduced him back into the community.
Okay.
I set up a.
It's your fault.
I set up a debate between Kent and King Crocoduck, who's a friend of mine, and that was beautiful. I mean, he eviscerated Kent, and that led to another one.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen a couple of Logic videos on him too.
Yeah, and love Logic, and he's he's done some takedowns of Kent, but to lose to Ken Hovind in a debate, my God, you really got to be. And when you're a debunker like GE thinks he is, and you lose to somebody like Kent. Okay, but anyways, Chess, tell them literally this is what you're going to be talking about Duncan Peasants tomorrow.
If you guys don't want to watch it, we're talking about it tomorrow. Please come in. We're gonna eat popcorn and just, my God, Essentially, what the breakdown of the discussion or debate ends up essentially being, it's supposed to be about homosexuality. It moves on into slavery. They barely touch on homosexuality at all. They just go right the hell off topic. Then they start talking about, they spend most of the time talking about slavery in the Bible, and whether or not it's justified, and whether or not it should or should not be. G-Man calls them out so hard for not knowing his arguments or knowing what they're talking about, and he's right. Because they do not argue.
I've never heard G-Man be right on anything before.
And most of the time, they're just detracting from whatever point he's made, or being like more purposefully obtuse and being like, "Oh, well, that means you mean this." Are you
straw manning
now? You don't need to straw man G-Man.
Yeah,
Just address his argument.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was that bad. And a couple super chats real quick. You want to read them, but. I'm still at a loss. I've known G-Man a very long time, and here's the thing: if you guys may not know this, when we started that channel, or I started that channel, but when we started it, one of the conditions we said to each other was, we're never going to have G-Man on that channel.
Oh yeah, Kyle swore up and down. That
the reason being was the reason being why maybe they not know why is because G-Man was visceral to a friend of ours, Jade West, who was gay, that I loved to death. Dear friend of both Reds and I, who passed away. So he was never able to actually ask for her forgiveness for the shit that he said. And we always going to hold that against him, right? Because he was just so malicious to that woman when she was just a saint. I mean, brilliant too, and didn't deserve any of that. And I personally think that a lot of that stress may have led to some health conditions. I can't prove that. My opinion, but even still, I blame G-Man for a lot of things, and we swore we'd never have him on. And the only guest after I left that channel, the only guest he could get on was G-Man. That's how, because nobody wanted to go any longer. But yeah, it's frustrating because he was never.
So this Kyle guy, that's your ex-partner, or?
Yeah, we started a channel. We started a podcast about 2 years ago that took off, got about 500,000 iTunes downloads, and then we decided to go to. I talked to him going to YouTube back when, and that took off. It took huge. We're making $4,000 or $5,000 a month, and and I mean, I can't talk about things for legality reasons, but I can state. I can say facts. Here's a fact: he took 100% of all the profits.
Okay,
that's a fact. That's not even in controversy. He took 100% of everything. So that's why I'm having to go to court. But like I said, if Jessra can talk about whatever she wants to talk about, but I'm limited because my lawyer, who by the way is amazing. I love my lawyer. I never thought I could ever say that lawyers are good. This guy's good. I mean, most lawyers only give a shit about can bill for an hour or so, bill by the 10 minutes. No, this guy actually is caring. So
there's a lot of shit that's gone on. There's even shit that we're not touching on that went on last week just because it seems to have been dealt with for the time being. So we put it in a little pocket for now.
You want to do the super chats real quick? Yeah. That there was some drama that got resolved. A certain person, who I'm not going to mention their name, decided to come after me. I gave him a decision. I said, look, you can either not come after me and stop trying to smear me with my fans and with my friends, or I can rain hell down upon you. Your choice. He decided to take the smart route.
I mean, it might be because he witnessed the little bit of hell that I gave him right out the gate.
Hey, look, like I said, I don't bluff. And so when people make the smart decision, I will abide by my conditions. But anyways, read the super chats and then tell me.
Super chats and then we'll end off. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So Helios for $5 said, "When does Drunken Peasants go live? On what channel? I want to catch it live. Also, what the fuck? G-Man want to debate on non sequitur show? Oh, how the mighty have fallen." Well, the mighty haven't fallen. They're just not on the show right now.
Well, there isn't any. I mean, there is still technically a show, but it's not on. It's a long story. It's when you're in litigation, everything's up in the air.
Drunken Peasants will be on Drunken Peasants channel, correct? And that's going to be around 6 your time?
Yeah, I haven't confirmed whether there's going to be Drunken Peasants or the Ultra Perspective, even though they're basically the same thing any longer.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday. I think that's going to be Drunken Peasants. So, yeah.
Okay. John Foley for £5. G-Man is the Dunning-Kruger effect personified. It's terrifying, but so entertaining. I'm glad somebody gets entertainment out of it. William Peterson for $5 said, Kyle is such a one-trick pony when it comes to slavery in the Bible. Get a new argument. There are only like a million. Yeah.
And that's true.
Yeah.
Well, again, I'm sorry, but him and GE, they're not exactly deep thinkers when it comes to a lot of these arguments. This is why they had me, because this is what I did. I like to have debunking arguments.
And Steve's not allowed to say anything. Here's what I will say about it, and maybe we can end on this.
Okay.
You can watch GE and Kyle trip over themselves, or you can watch me and Steve.
Yeah, no comment.
$20 Australian. Here's some funds for your rum fund. It's way early in the morning for me, but the life of being on call for work. That sucks. I'm sorry for that. For you. Being on call sucks.
Okay, so one sec. I am actually sending the end time link to Undoomed DM. If you get bored later on, check it out, because In Time did a really good breakdown of everything. And also Unirock, if you're familiar with him, he does a really good breakdown. But that kind of tells you all you need to know, because this will be huge on the internet one of these days. This is going to go down in YouTube history. I have no doubt in my mind, because of the amount of money involved, the amount of self-destruction that's involved. It's just going to be it's going to be infamous.
To court, like if that actually goes to court, it's going to blow up.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge. So I'm sure you're gonna be hearing about it. So you might want to familiarize with yourself, because big name YouTubers are getting involved eventually. They're just waiting for certain things. So as soon as stuff happens, then people are gonna be making big hay about this.
Our grandchildren will talk about it.
Yeah.
Steve.
Oh, this is gonna be on Mojo Watch one day. I have no doubt in my mind. Watch Mojo or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be on there. There's no question about it.
You're building it up to be like huge. This is going to be a letdown.
No, it's just honestly, is this not going to be something that's huge, you think?
I mean, to be fair, early on they were like, oh well, this is as far as it's gonna go, and I was like, oh sweet summer child. You do not understand the shit show can that you just opened. And things have settled down a little bit as of right now, but that's only a matter of time until some more litigation goes through. And if some litigation goes through, everything starts all over again. This is turning into a gift that's going to keep on giving.
When a channel loses
to the end of the year.
When a channel loses 30% of their subs in like a matter of weeks.
Oh God.
When they drop their Patreon down by 80%.
Yeah,
that's
Undoomed.
significant.
You know what went down with Jared, Pro Jared?
Mm-hmm.
It's that kind of levels of stupid. It's that kind of levels of stupid. It's just on a smaller scale in the numbers percentage, if that makes sense. So like the channels, the drop.
Yeah, but I mean, we're still talking about a significant amount of money.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that like the reason Jared's thing was so big was just because his channel was so big and he was tied to other things. This is a little bit smaller, just in that the number of subscribers and the numbers we're talking about is a little bit smaller. But the level of stupid, it's up there. It's
all right. So it's going to be a nice shit show.
It's a beautiful self-destruction. Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah. If you got questions on it, message me. But I think you might want to like be a note of it, because if you put this on your channel one day, oh my God, you're gonna even blow up even bigger, because this is something that's amazing. But anyways, let me do the Stuart's one of my favorite persons. Stuart, thank you, Stuart, $20. Stuart says, here are some funds for your rum and fund. It's way too early in the morning. No, it's not for me, but the life of being on call for work. Well, when you get off. By the way, I did go out and bought another bottle of Admiral Nelson. Thank you. Somebody had. So I got dark rum, Admiral Nelson, and Johnny Walker now. Now,
how drunk do you get on those shows?
I don't. You know what? I have ulcers, and I can't drink that much. I've had my Johnny Walker bottle that God's Auditor bought for me. It's been like 3 months, and I still have it. My dark rum, I got about that much left. So I don't really consume that much. But I've had a few rum and coke nights where I was sloshed, but I can't drink like that any longer. But you'll.
I do.
She does. You'll find out. You'll come join us. We're gonna get a bunch of people for the next rum and coke night. I'll send it to your way. It's fun. Oh my God. I mean, we can have like 800 people watching, just people getting drunk. It's beautiful.
And if you do want to end up doing a
sounds like fun.
If you do end up wanting to do a deep dive on non sequitur, I have a playlist and I have like all of the screen. I've got everything. So if you need anything,
Right.
and same with FE Core stuff, if you need anything that you're planning that you want to talk about or you want to know, I've got everything. So just shoot me a message.
Right. Just follow me back.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Like I said, we like when at least anybody talks about this. Like Unirock, he has about 32,000 on one channel, 14 on another. And I'm pushing almost 13 now, or 12, 13 now on this channel, but I had like 32 on the other 1,000 on the other channel. But yeah, I mean, when anybody talks about these things like FE Core or what's going on with non-sec, it brings attention to the issue. And so I don't want people to be scammed. And FE Core scamming people. I won't say anything about the other issue, but I definitely think that people need to be brought attention, because I want this channel to be a channel where things do get called out like that. I want to promote good science. I want to go promote philosophy. But as I asked the live audience earlier, how much do you want on the other channel, the Great Debate Community channel, and how much do you want on this channel? I want to keep this channel really more scientifically minded and philosophical minded. I'll occasionally we'll do the probably this show on this particular channel, but we're thinking about moving to the Great Debate Community channel. That's up to you guys, because I don't want to dwell on drama on this particular channel, because I don't need to.
You guys want to fund me a camera and a stand, and I'll make my own cooking show that we can put on the GDC. Kyle's apparently ending non sequitur show and starting to do cooking.
No comment. Copernicus, $2. Reds, you know what's funny, for me to be able to say no comment sucks, right? I mean, because I comment on everything. So,
well, it was funny.
Yeah, you know it's good when I have to say no comment though, because it's like, well, but I'm smiling. So there are good things happening, trust me, and I know there's actually legal action with FE Core as well. So, which I could talk about, but I don't know if Reds and Slycart Sparkane can if they get into litigation with them. But Reds Ahoy, Copernicus, $2 says, Reds Ahoy! But anyways, guys, we're going to wrap this up. We got about 8 minutes. I like to keep these under 2 hours because they render better. But anyways, first let me thank Demi for joining us and Iordinary. I appreciate it. I like having you as a friend of me. It's been actually much better since we've started actually communicating, and I've enjoyed it, to be honest with you. I thank you for that.
Yeah.
Until you piss me off again, and then I'm going to destroy you.
Henry said, for the community.
You're so cute.
Go listen to her rap. She did a diss rap ages ago, and she put, and I it was good. It was good. I was in it.
Oh yeah, I have you in it.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. You know, it's Mr. Cheswick actually did Mr. Cheswick is a flat earther. He did a video called "Dan and the Moon" with some man Dan, and he put me in it, and he put me right up with Neil deGrasse Tyson and.
Aww.
Yeah, and who's the other guy? The one that did the debate with Ken. Mechanical engineer guy.
Bill Nye?
Bill Nye, thank you. He put me right up there with Bill Nye, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Simon Dan in a video, and it was a really good song. He did a great job on it too. I even told him, I said, dude, I'm honored to be in this video with these guys, and you sing really well. It was really well done. I get props, even if they're flat earthers, so I'm not that much of an ass.
Friends on the internet.
But so anyways, Undoomed, I want to thank you as well. I know you're a busy guy. We will be in touch with you. I'm grateful that we have direct comms with you on
come play with us on Rum and Coke.
Oh, you'll like rum and Coke.
Yeah.
You'll have fun.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks
for having me.
What do you drink, by the way? What's your drink of choice?
Whiskey.
What kind? Do you? I mean, Scotch whiskey or
Scotch? Yeah,
okay.
Scotch.
Right. Yeah, so I'm a Scotch guy too. I like Johnny Walker Black. I'm not a big bourbon fan any longer. I used to really like Jack Daniels.
I like those Dalwhinnies. You know.
Dalwhinnies.
Yeah, it's Scotch from Scotland.
Nice. I have to check it out. I've had what is it? The G. That's done. I just had it's 12-year-old.
Like Glenfiddich.
Glenfiddich, yeah, Glenfiddich. I had that a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it was okay. But I don't know. I didn't think I was going to like the Johnny Walker Black as much as I did. Like I said, God Auditor bought it for me. I just like, this is a nice sipping drink. So Glenlivet 12. Yeah. So anyways, so I usually have those on Saturday nights or Sunday nights. Sometimes maybe Friday, but we'll keep you posted on that. But anyways, thanks for joining us on Undoomed. Chester, you want to lead us out with the last super chat and thank everybody?
$2. This is for Cheshires to start a cooking channel.
That's all it takes
God
is
damn
$2. That could, what was that going to buy you? Olive oil?
Maybe. I can get some eggs.
That won't even buy milk
Maybe
around here, but
3.
thank you very much. I appreciate every
Get
dollar.
3 eggs. See what I can make.
$2,
Make
$50,
those eggs
$1.
last 7 years before you can make your channel financially stable.
It took me about that long. Good night,
I
guys.
gotta put that $2 into Bitcoin.